What did your first income look like?
It was horrible, honestly. Like I started with 18,333 rupees, I still remember.
How much do you make?
I make around 70 to 75 lakhs a year.
So, did you guys ever find bombs or hidden treasures?
Yeah, we always find UXO objects.
You're also very much like an adrenaline junkie.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I'm an advanced scuba diver.
Any particular scuba diving incidents?
Oh yeah, oh that one. I'll tell you about this one. This was amazing.
So, tell us, what do you do?
So I'm a
Hello guys, welcome to a brand new episode of 1% Life, and in our today's episode we have someone with a very interesting and unique profession. Hello Vikas, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Are you financially independent?
Yeah, I am.
And when did you achieve that?
I think at 28.
28.
Yeah. That's when I earned my first crore.
And what does your current net worth look like?
It's around 3 to 4 CR.
How have you divided it? What does your asset allocation actually look?
So 80% I'll say is in property, which literally like grow like from last 2 years. It helped me a lot. 10%, 5% I'll say are in small assets, like cars and etc. I have around 5% to 7% in equity, and 5 to 7% in savings.
Is there any specific reason for 80% in real estate?
The thing was that I bought a house around like 2 years ago, like 1.5 to 2. And when I bought it, it was around 2 to 2.5 CR, but now it's around 4.5.
And where is this house?
It's in Navi Mumbai, near the new airport.
Oh, is it a very big house?
It's like a 5 BHK, 2,500 square feet house. So that's why it costed me a lot, but it has given me a good return, like almost 80% return in like 1.5 years.
So tell us, what do you do and how much do you make?
So I'm a hydrographic surveyor as profession. We are also called seismic navigator. So we basically like research underwater, and I make around 70 to 75 lakhs a year, depending on the number of days I work offshore. It can be more, it can be less, but it depends on the scope of the job.
So for our viewers, can you simplify what do you do exactly?
If you know that the sea is not mapped, so only 25% of the world sea is mapped basically. So what we do is we map the seabed so that if anybody is interested to do anything on the seabed, they can do it. So we also research, we have sensors which can scan below the seabed and give us the data which we can provide to like big clients like BP, Shell, Equinor, and they can use to make like wind farms, oil and gas platforms, or if they want to find like old shipwrecks or any other thing, depending on their scope. That's the basic of like anybody can understand this thing. That's what we do.
Can you tell me, what did your first income look like right out of
It was
college?
horrible, honestly. Like I started with 18,333 rupees, I still remember. That was my first job. And now it's like around 70 in like 7 years. Yeah. So like 70 lakhs to from 2.2 per annum to 70 to 75. And I can earn more if I do more days. But that's an average what I'm telling you. So I'll say like the basic is around 40. That's the base. And then till 100 days, we all get like same. So if you want to do like maybe 200 days, you'll make like maybe 60 lakhs or something like that. So you can even go up to like 1 CR easily. It depends how many, but there is a culture in Europe. So people just do 28 days onshore, 28 days offshore, and they give like relaxed, like to give time people to go home, spend their time with family, and then come back to work again, basically.
What did you do differently that like helped you go from like 2.2 to
Yeah, I'll give you an
78?
example. Like, like in the hydrographic field, the offshore industry is money. So definitely it looks like crazy going from 2.2 to 70. It's a difficult, challenging job working in ocean, but same time, if somebody who loves being there, it's like a hobby. So when I started working in offshore, I found out that it's not just the basic salary that you get. You also get paid like day rates. Day rates from 20,000 per day to 1,50,000 per day. Plus it depends, like in offshore, there are many roles. Like we have geophysicists on board, we have environmental scientists, we have underwater engineers who even get like more than like because of their experience. Like not everybody gets equal. Plus like we have divers. So if I tell you about divers, they're not even day rate. They make like hourly rate. The amount of hours they work, it's like They make double the amount of what a normal person on the boat, because they go underwater. The problem doing diving is like you cannot just a saturation diver cannot come out of the water directly, because his body will paralyze because of the amount of pressure. So like every 10 meters there's like 1 bar pressure on your body. So when he's walking around like 150 meters or something, there's immense pressure on his body, and that's why they are paid that amount of money.
So you're talking about the offshore industry. Yeah. So can you tell me how does it actually work, like in like a bit
I'll
detail?
explain. I'll explain
Sure.
in detail. So the offshore industry is massive. First of all, it has applications starting from mapping from the seabed to doing seismic survey. Like my company is expert in doing seismic survey. So seismic survey is something basically finding what is below the seabed, not just the seabed. Like if there's a bomb buried from a World War time, if we don't do the survey below the seabed, we won't find it. So these kind of surveys required high-tech equipments. So we basically have like streamers which are towed behind the vessel for like kilometers. And then we have hydrophones which receive these signals, and we find out what's below the seabed. So this is one of the application. Like if you remember, like when in the Suez Canal, the ship was stuck in maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Evergreen, the
Evergreen,
ship.
yes, the Evergreen one. So the parent company, they were the one. So they had to dredge the whole, like the area, and then remove the vessel and then put it on the line. But it costed a lot to major, merchant naval fleets. So this is also one of the application which we do. So dredging is also like requires a lot of sensors plus the divers. If I'll tell you about the divers, we have like two types of divers. One is air and the other is saturation divers. So the air divers goes up to like a limited depth, 50 to 60, because they don't stay in the chambers. The saturation divers, they don't live on the vessel with us. They have a separate room which is compressed, and they do decompression, stay in the chamber, and then they go in the sea, in the sea, using diving bells. So in offshore, like the work never stops, first of all. It's 24 hours. Everybody is in shifts. So we are in like 12 to 12 shifts, but it doesn't mean that we are working all 12 hours. But we have to be in shifts so that we see that the work is never stopping.
So you're talking about finding things below the seabed,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So did you guys ever find bombs or hidden
Yeah,
treasures?
we always find UXO objects. So it's like these bombs were like could be buried in World War or any other incident which happened before. So when we find anything, we inform the clients that we have the exact easting and northing and exact Z value that we have the bomb here. The client comes with the different like a diving team which we operate then, and then we remove the bomb very safely, and then they can put any wind farm on it or whatever they want, whatever the scope was. But we have to inform all this information like about the seabed, what's below it, and is there any hazards over there to the clients. Yeah.
How is your connection with the outside world when you're on the vessel?
Oh, amazing. Like we have like Starlink satellite system on all the vessels we have, and you can like we have everything. We can talk to your family. It's like a normal life. You don't feel like, because you have a proper, like everybody have their own rooms, and you can set it up. You live like normally. It's only when you feel you can't talk to them physically, but you can be on the phone and communicate with them every day. There's no problem in communication at all.
And how does your role look like when you're not at sea? When you're do you also operate?
Yeah, we operate like, so for example, when we collect the data, it's not done, it's just the start. So we go back to the office, we process the data, we make sure it looks pretty for the client, and then we give it to them, and then if they're happy, we get the money. Yeah.
Makes sense. So how did you exactly end up in this role? It's a very unique role if you look at it.
Yeah, it is a unique role, and I don't think like most of the people even have heard about this. So from the background, if I start, I'm from a defense background. Like my dad was in Navy. He served for 30 years as a submariner. So it made my interest in Navy a lot. However, my profession was not similar. I was doing GIS mapping for a company in Mumbai. And then I left that job and I found a new job in this field where I learned everything from basic, worked hard over there, and finally ended up like where I am right now. But if I divide it for you, so it was a long process of 7 years where I learned like a lot from my last companies, and then I went forward to do my masters in UK, which is University of Glasgow, and then from then I ended up in this company now.
I wanted to ask, what if someone in the audience wants to pursue what you pursued? What would like the education qualification look like? What should the education roadmap look like?
I think first of all, they should contact somebody like me who's already in the field, because you should need a proper mentorship. You need to ask like what you want to do and you really want to do it or not. Because once you start doing it, it's too late to stop because it takes time. And then you need to like do some basic jobs like near shore. You don't have to go offshore. There are small jobs which you can do near shore. They're not very, like I'll say, they're not that like how you get paid in offshore, but you'll get experience with the sensors, you'll get experience with working with satellite systems, and then you can pursue your degree. Because in this job, one thing which is very important is like a good certification. If you have a good certification, it helps you a lot. And if they get a good certification from a good college and get a placement, they can crack it.
If someone in India, let's just say a kid in tier two, wants to get into a company like one you are right now, uh, for firstly, what should he do if he can't afford an education from, let's just say, a Glasgow? He's just starting out. What should be his roadmap?
So one thing I want to like make it clear, like the jobs that happens in India, like offshore industry, is very different from the offshore industry in Europe. Same for the money, because in India, there's because of the competition and the requirement, the money is less. In Europe, they pay like what is the standard rates. So that's the difference. So to get a job directly in Europe from India, it's a little difficult. You have to go through procedures, and they normally don't hire directly from India. They go and look around and who's comfortable in Europe, and they hire people from there. For somebody who wants to go directly, I don't think I'll recommend anybody, because it's not possible. They're going to waste their time. But if they want to work in Mumbai, like, or in Indian offshore, it is possible. They don't need a very, like, they don't have to get a degree to do it. They can go to small companies, work to learn basically. And after learning, they can move forward and go and try applying in universities which doesn't, they're not all, like my university costed me 40 lakhs for a year.
There have been a lot of students from India who are constantly going out of India to pursue a foreign education, and like I honestly don't know, is that the best decision that they can make? Is staying in India best decision we can make? You being someone who has taken that foreign education and also taken Indian education, what can you make of it? Is it worth it or is it not worth it?
I think first of all, it depends on your family's financial condition. People nowadays don't take that in consideration. Taking a loan of 40 lakhs and going abroad and studying in a university, people have to do proper research. I think your university ranking matters a lot. For an international education nowadays, people don't see inflation over there. The inflation is growing very fast. So even if you make like 50 lakhs in UK, and if you're staying in UK with 50 lakhs salary, I think you won't be able to save much because of the inflation. There will be a problem. Another problem which international students face is like making friends, because it's a different culture. So most of them, like, when they go, they're like, even when I started, it was difficult for the first month to get along with the new culture, with new people. So it takes time, and not everybody gels up very fast.
Looking at this role, it's not a role that is very relationship friendly. No. Like getting a girlfriend, 28 days being with her 28 days, not.
On our vessels, there are people who have relationship on the vessel also, like they are dating each other, which makes life easy, because they're traveling together, they're working together. For somebody who doesn't have relationship, like who's working together in the same company, it gets difficult definitely, because your partner should be happy you're going away for a month or two. So that you should have a partner who's happy with that, first of all.
How does like the male to female ratio look like in this particular end?
It's around 70-30.
Oh,
Yeah. But now it's increasing from 6, which is good for us. It's going around 60-40 now from the last research, but generalizing, it's around 70-30, 70 males and 30 females.
you make like upwards of 70 lakhs per annum, and you make it in Europe. So how does the taxation look like? Has that been a headache for you?
Not really, because I'm an NRE, so I'm an NRI. I have an NRE account. So anybody who has an NRE account and stays more than 180 days outside India, he gets his income tax free in India. And I don't live there; like I just go there for work. So I stay, I travel, and then I come back to India. So that's the best thing. So it's all tax free, and I'm happy with it. So it's no problem to manage. That's why recommend anybody working in offshore to stay single and enjoy.
Talking about enjoyment,
Yeah.
you said that you're also very much like an adrenaline junkie.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. So how many countries have you traveled, and
I've
what all?
traveled around 19 to 20 countries now, and I love doing like scuba diving. I'm an advanced scuba diver. I've done around 55 dives till now. Also, I've done skydiving. I've done 7 skydiving. Started like a solo skydiving thing, but yeah, that much countries.
Any particular scuba diving incidents?
Oh yeah, oh that one. I'll tell you about this one. This was amazing. When I saw like people spend like their dives, people have done 200 dives, but they still haven't seen any whale shark. I did my like 7th dive and I saw a big whale shark, which was like super lucky for me, and that was my birthday. So it couldn't have went better. Like I was alone in Koh Tao. It's like a diving island in Thailand.
That's great. Thank you so much, Vikas, for being on the show. It was lovely talking to you. So, if you guys like today's episode, do like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.